Hi, I'm Glen Anthony from Glen Anthony Watches, and I just wanted to make a few small videos so I can introduce myself, talk about where we come from, and just talk about a few watches. I was born in Newcastle, and I come from a long line of car mechanics. My grandfather was a car mechanic. He was in the Navy in the war and worked on the ships. And they worked in a local garage called Buist's, where my father also worked with them. He couldn't escape either, so he worked with my grandfather in Buist's on many of the British brands in there. And then in the 70s, he opened his own garage in Gosforth, where I started working with him in the mid 80s after I left school, and a couple of my school friends worked with me as well. So that was quite interesting. We had quite a good laugh, and fixed some cars quite badly back then, but it was very enjoyable. In the 90s, I moved to New York City, where I worked for Mitsubishi Industrial Equipment for a number of years, which was very exciting. And I seen a lot of America at that time, and it was before 9/11, so it was still quite chilled, and really enjoyed that time. And we came back here in 2000, where I met my lovely wife Amanda, and we got married, and we opened Joblings of Whitley Bay, which was a Bosch service centre, which we owned until 2015. And I was always keen to do something different. I'd always loved modifying cars, and you can see the bikes, so I've had bikes and always enjoyed modifying those. And I had a real passion for watches, and always enjoyed buying watches, and I bought the best watches I could afford. Sometimes they were Seiko, and sometimes they were Swiss, sometimes they were whatever. But yeah, I always enjoyed watches, and I was always looking for a creative outlet. So in 2010, I was in Northern Goldsmiths in the Metro Centre in Gateshead, and I was wanting to buy a Super Avenger. And anybody knows that watch, it's a massive chunk of stainless steel, and it weighs about 3 kilograms, and it's a beautiful piece of engineering. I did have a real desire to buy it, and I was talking to the salesman there, and he said to me, well, if you want a proper Breitling movement, you're going to have to buy a more high-end watch. And I already owned a lovely Navitimer at that point. And I said, well, I bought a Navitimer off you a couple of years ago. What was that watch movement in that? And he informed me it was a ETA 7750, which had been modified by Breitling. So I came to the conclusion that this Super Avenger was going to have the same movement. We talked about it, and I was a little bit disappointed that for a £4,000 Swiss watch, I was buying a watch with somebody else's movement in. Now, I know you all know this already. You know about movements. I was naive at the time. I didn't realize any of this. And this is about, 16, 17 years ago. And I decided that I wouldn't buy the watch, but I would do some research. And the research I found was that ETA, as you know, is very available movement where you can buy and you can, fit in a watch case yourself. So I did what a lot of people do, is I bought a watch case, and I bought a strap, and I bought a dial and hands, and assembled it, which gave me great pleasure. I really enjoyed doing that. But I started with a 7750, which was probably a little bit in the deep end. I should have probably started with maybe something a little bit less expensive, and less chance of making mistakes and costing a little bit of money. But I was fortunate; I didn't make any mistakes. I managed to make a nice little chronograph, which I enjoyed for a year, and sold. And I'd made a couple more in that time, and sold them. And then I had the great idea of buying a lathe. So there I was in my home garage, lathing bits of stainless steel, which is very difficult, and all you can do is make round things. So then I thought, well, I have the great idea, why don't I buy a milling machine where I can make some other shapes and do some real engineering. And so I bought a milling machine, a manual milling machine, and that led onto other things. A customer of mine was a college lecturer in CAD design, and he had the great idea of introducing me to CAD design. And this was about 2013 or so. And to be honest, learning CAD design blew my mind. It changed my life. I wish I had learned it 20 years earlier. I really do. It was a phenomenal thing. Just making 3D models on the screen and modifying them. It really opened my eyes to what could be done. And I know a lot of people are familiar with CAD design and they use it in their jobs. And this is not something new, but it was to me at that time. And I almost threw my manual mill in the bin, but I still soldiered on with it, making small components for watch cases, making my own bezels, making my own cases, rudimentary stuff. But that is all you can do with manual machines unless you get really involved with it. So I came to the conclusion in 2015 that I wanted to push forward with this. And we sold our company to one of the lads who worked for me at the time. And I invested some money in some nice CAD design. I used Bob CAD, which is an American company, which is very easy to use, and it was sufficient to get me going at the time. And also bought Siemens Solid Edge, which came with Keyshot, which is very good as well for photo rendering. And we learned how to use those. And then I bought a lovely 4-axis German CNC machine, and we just started making components. And we set up the business in 2015. And I had a design in mind that I wanted to make, and I was making prototyping, new designs, new bezels, new case designs, strap connection, all these things, backs, making watch backs. We were predominantly making them in stainless steel. We started using little quartz movements when we made a line of watches. Around 2018, we had a line of watches ready to go. We had them photographed and we had a website made. But we realized that the website wasn't really going to sell much. We had to get out there and start selling them ourselves. So we did that, and we started doing local events. And I met a great guy, Steve Kinghorn, who introduced me to the superbike events, the British superbikes. And we made a couple of clocks for him. And we decided that we would do some exhibiting at the BSBs, and we got a gazebo and all the rest of it, and we went and we followed the BSBs as much as we could. And I've met a lot of you guys through the BSBs, and over the last sort of nearly 8 years or so, we've sold a lot of watches through the BSBs, and we always enjoy meeting you at Brands Hatch at Silverstone. We love Alton Park. Alton Park is our favourite. We go there twice a year. It's a cracking place. People have a real good buzz, and it's a good weekend. Usually a bank holiday, so that helps people have a good time. But we always have new watches, and we really had started building a customer base at the British Superbikes, and we will carry on attending the British Superbikes for as long as we can. Hopefully out of a gazebo into our new events trailer next year, so we should be safe from the wind and the rain and the gusts that do spoil a gazebo, if you know what I mean. And you can't really sell nice watches from a tent. It's a little bit sort of backward, but it has worked so far, and I appreciate all those people having faith in us and ignoring the tent and looking at our products and buying them. It's been a great joy. You know, me personally, I love making the watches, I love designing the watches, and I also love selling the watches. We don't sell in shops. You know, I sell face-to-face to my customers whenever I can, and always have contact with people who buy them over the internet. And it's just a huge passion of ours. We love watches, we love making watches, and we love talking about watches, which is something my wife really enjoys. But yeah, we do love making watches. And I just want to show you a couple of watches that we have at the moment. Well, I'm always making something new. And I came to the conclusion a while ago that we should pretty much make every watch bespoke, make it individual, so the customer is getting a one-of-a-kind watch. and we came up with the tagline, only one in the world. So we're going to use that tagline on this, on all our watches, and we will try and make each one individual. Even if it's only a small detail, it'll be individual. I know a lot of companies do this, but they're usually about £40,000. We're going to keep them under £1,000, and you're not buying, you're not paying retail costs. You're buying direct from the manufacturer. So there's not wasted money. It's a personal thing that you're getting from us, and it's going to be one of a kind. And hopefully that you're going to enjoy some of our designs, and we're going to make some nice watches over the next few years. We're looking forward to 2026. It's going to be a big year for us. 2025 has been the best year we've ever had. We've started attending watch fairs. We're at the Manchester Watch Fair in a couple of weeks. We were at the London Watch Fair about 3 weeks ago, which was a really good event. Colin was really generous, and he really opened his doors to us and helped us to attend for the first time. So we're going to do a lot more watch fairs and show our products off there, which is something that we're very proud to be doing. So what I want to talk to you today about is this is our all new Synchro Sport. Now it's a skeleton, as you can see, and we use the Seiko NH72A black skeleton movement, which is a phenomenally precise and lovely movement. It hasn't given us any trouble, and we're quite happy with that, because movements can give trouble, and they're a mechanical thing. So as you can see, this watch is made of all titanium. It's ceramic coated, and I coat it first, then I polish the edges to bring the fins through. So it has a little look of an engine. Also, it's a 12-point, it's not round. I'm just trying to get it away from the lights so it doesn't glare. It has 12 M1 Torx bolts holding it together there. And it has 4 bolts in the dial. As you can see, there's a layer of carbon fiber in the dial, and then the orange layer with the numbers, and then there's a chapter ring which has 60 drill holes in it for the seconds. Okay, it's a sweeping movement. But the skeleton is really lovely. The strap is handmade in Britain by Barry, who makes our straps, and he is really adaptable. He'll try and help us in any way he can to make a nice one-of-a-kind strap. So as you can see, it has a glass back, and I put the details of the watch inside the ring there. I know it's hard to see, but I put the serial number on the watch, make and model in there, which is also quite nice, and you can see the rotor there just staying still as I rotate it. And one thing I wanted to do was always connect the strap in an interesting way. Now if you see the strap connection, these articulate to position around your wrist once you're wearing the watch, and I just think it's a lovely feature. We have the strap connector cover, which is drilled and brush polished, and it's held in with an M1.4 Allen bolt, and the strap is easily changed. It is bolted in, and then we have the strap connector bracket with sport engraved in there and the orange color dropped in. I like using a matte grey finish with bright colors. It really makes them sing. It's really individual. And here's something unusual. I even make my own hands, which I've probably lost more hair making hands than any other feature on a watch. Hands are very difficult to make. They're very difficult to get right, and very difficult for them to stay on over a period of time. And I have had the odd hand fall off, but we have getting past that. And we're happy to take care of any issues that we do have in the future. These are machines, but we hope not to have too many. But yes, there you go. This is the new Synchro Sport, and this is the orange version.